Hello, everyone. Netherlands 2, Argentina 2, and Argentina not Netherlands out of the World Cup and penalties. I've not even caught up with you yet, Mike, since it happened. So this is really raw emotions right now. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm absolutely gutted. Yeah, like that. I'd say the full game was just a roller coaster of emotions from
Yeah.
just feeling so deflated until the last sort of 10 minutes, and then yeah, I thought that as soon as they hit the post with the last kick of the game, I thought, this is our day, and then yeah, bloody penalties is always it's always a downfall. And yeah, just right now I'm just absolutely gutted.
Yeah, gutted as well. Because of that fight back, because of that wild free kick in the last minute, it just felt like it gave the Netherlands a chance. And I really expect them to keep pushing on in extra time, that they could put some more crosses in and keep doing the really good things that they were doing towards the end of the second half. But yeah. Do you think penalties was down to luck, or do you think that there was something in there? The first two being saves kind of helped at all mentally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like 2014 again. Like, I know that you often get your captain taking your first penalty. I know that's usually how it goes, but yeah, again, a centre back stepping up against Argentina. As soon as that happened, I turned to my girlfriend, and she doesn't watch the Netherlands much. I was like, the last time this happened, there was a centre back and he missed, and then Van Dijk misses, and I'm just like, here we go again. Yeah, like I know I said it earlier before the tournament. I'm sure I put a tweet out saying, because Van Dijk said that he's very confident about taking a penalty, and I was like, "Oh, we're going to have a Ron Vlaar situation again." And I got some Liverpool fans coming back and saying, "Oh no, he's great at penalties. He scored this one in the League Cup." But yeah, I think that when you saw how Weghorst, who was the most confident man on the pitch at that time, how he scored his penalty, I don't know why you don't go with him first. Just get out of the way, get the first one done. Then you get the confidence from that. Yeah, like Van Gaal, he deserves praise because his plan B, which was leaked at half time, the bit of paper that had Weghorst and De Jong up front, that got leaked at half time. That was plan B. He did it. It worked. Um, the free kick, I mean, that's up there with best moment in the tournament for me. But yeah, and then as you said, they just completely shut down in extra time. Went back to pass around the back, defend, and then just gave the momentum all the way back to Argentina. I thought that it was all in everyone's court. I thought what Van Gaal should have done is he got to extra time. He could have brought off Gakpo, put on somebody very quick up front, because if De Jong and Weghorst were winning flick-ons, there was nobody to run onto him, because by that point Gakpo was spent, Dumfries was spent. There was nobody running onto these long balls, so it was pretty pointless. So yeah, just it's raw, but yeah, it's just disappointing, because when you come back from 2-0 down, you have that momentum, you just give it all away. It's pretty poor. Yeah, and obviously it's ended with Argentina going back, and see all the comments about the referee. I thought he was an absolute joke. Van Gaal obviously praised him before the game, saying he was one of the best referees in the world. Not in that performance. I think that if you touched Lionel Messi tonight, if you touched an Argentina player at all, and he went down, they were getting a free kick. If Lionel Messi ran into you,
it was terrible.
Yeah. If Lionel Messi ran into you, he was getting a free kick. It didn't matter what he did, he was getting a free kick. And apparently he can punch the ball whenever he wants, and it's not a yellow card as well. So, I mean, just
and then gets a second yellow card later on. Well, second,
so
that could have been sent off.
It's just give me a red. And I don't know how Paredes didn't get sent off for first absolutely taking out Gakpo and then booting the ball into the Netherlands dugout. I don't know how that's not one yellow card for one offence, then the second yellow card for the other one straight afterwards. But yeah, he lost control of the game. But you can't really blame that. I mean, he gave the free kick at the end and everyone's the extra time. So I mean, you can't really say that. But yeah, it's just it's disappointing.
Lots to dissect from this, definitely, for sure. Referee was terrible. I was frustrated for long periods of that game, and then the plan B, I just was surprised it was so effective with bringing on his two tall strikers. And what joy we had when it worked. Just that shock when that second goal went in. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for your live comments. Keep them coming in. And if you're not watching live, leave the comments down below. We've had to adjust the time of the live stream because of the extra time and the injury time and all the penalties. And we've got Abdul here. I'm going to bring in now. I know he's been listening backstage. Abdul, thanks for coming on. You're not at the game again, but you'll be watching, and just tell us, how are you feeling?
Well, I just heard what Michael said, and I completely agree with him. I agree with some of the points you mentioned. We all thought the game was over after the second goal. What Van Gaal did was very smart, actually, depending on long balls and putting, of course, Weghorst and Luke de Jong. He should have done that earlier, actually, before the second goal came, because until the 70th minute, we did not create anything. So I thought he should have done that earlier. And I don't know why we did not attack when the after the equalizer. When the extra time started, we should have attacked in the first half. Argentina was down. Obviously, we could have scored a goal in the first half. I was surprised to see Holland defending and just passing the ball here and there, killing the match. And I think the substitution and bringing Di Maria was very smart. Because the coach of Argentina knew that we are defending, so he wanted to put more pressure on us. I think that was the perfect time for someone like Simons or Noah Lang to come in, earlier than it was supposed to be, but it did not happen. So I'm really disappointed. I mean, it was a chance of a lifetime to qualify to the semifinal. And I have to praise Weghorst for what he did. He really fought like hell tonight. That's all I can say, really.
Yeah, he was just in bits, wasn't he, when the penalty shootout had finished, and the goals were great. And can we talk on a positive note? I know it's really hard right now, but I really want to talk about that free kick. What did you guys think?
Yeah, it was insane, just because there was a couple of free kicks that we had before that were just wasted. I think there was one that Berghaus took that got headed away. It was a very similar position. I thought, oh, what are we going to do from here? Like, that was basically last chance, because you knew that with that referee being so poor, that all the Argentinian time wasting wasn't going to get added on at the end. So it was really last chance saloon for that. And yeah, to come up with that in the last kick of a game in the World Cup quarterfinals, yeah, that's brilliant from Koopmeiners, who didn't really do much when he came on, but that was genius, and the finish was brilliant from Weghorst. And fair play to him, he gets a lot of stick for what he did at Burnley, but when he plays for Netherlands, he's like a lion. He's all over the pitch, and yeah, he got his reward tonight. And I'm just glad for him, because at the end, obviously, he was in floods of tears on the pitch, and no wonder he scored 3 goals tonight. 2 in open time, and then a penalty in the penalty shootout, and he ends up on the losing side. So yeah, glad for him, but an amazing moment.
It is an amazing moment. I think it's a moment that can be remembered by many fans, not only Oranje fans, really. You don't see these moments a lot in World Cup. Man, I just lost my mind when that goal came, really. I did not see it coming at all. Everybody was expecting a shot by Koopmeiners, and suddenly this magical pass and Weghorst, the way he scored it, that moment cannot be forgotten. I think I'm going to watch it over and over after this show.
Yeah. But I think once the dust settles on all this, we will definitely have to do another podcast before Christmas and just talk about this World Cup as a whole, because right now it's still raw emotions. We can look back upon a moment like that and think that was pretty special. And do you know what? I'm going to say it. I don't want to say it this yet, but surely that's a Van Gaal planned in training moment. That if we are in this position in the last minute, we do this because everyone expects a shot. Unless it was completely just random from Koopmeiners and passed it into Weghorst. But there's no way that striker knows that that's coming unless this is planned beforehand, surely?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was planned indeed. Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they've worked up on the training ground, and it worked to treat it. Completely fooled Argentina's defence, and yeah, bravo to Van Gaal if he's the one that fought up, or bravo to Koopmeiners if he was the one that planned up with Weghorst. The two of them played together at AZ, so maybe it was something that they've came up with together.
Someone put that in the comments actually.
Yeah, so
there
maybe
it is.
that was
Made in
that.
Nazeg got goal. Yeah,
I mean, it's a moment of magic for a side that, if you look at the whole game, Netherlands only had 2 shots on target, and both of them ended in goals. So I mean, it's kind of been like that for the whole World Cup, to be fair, except for last game. Netherlands having very limited shots on goal, but scoring them. And again, that was tonight as well.
Can I, before bring some comments in from people watching live, can we talk about the start of the game and how disappointed you both were by? I know Van Gaal plans to play this way, but it got so poor that it was a whole hour of just almost nothingness. And do you think Van Gaal should have started off a different way?
Michael?
I mean, Captain Hindsight would say, yes, of course we should have done it differently. But given that Van Gaal was always going to stick with this formation, what else could he have done differently? Do you think he could have been more going for it early on, or was he right to do what he was doing because it kept Argentina at bay and kept the Netherlands in a game when they know they've got more quality players?
Yeah, again, it's Captain Hindsight, but I'd say before they scored, I'd say Netherlands are very, very comfortable in possession. Before, you got to, hold your hands up and say that pass from Messi was insane. But if you look at the build up to the goal, and before that, Netherlands were
twice, right?
Not really troubled, but Blind in the midfield, I don't know what he's doing, but he's on the floor, and then he starts just lazily jogging back, and then he's not on goal side with his marker. He doesn't anticipate the pass, and then he's in and he scored. That for me is unforgivable for somebody to do that in a quarterfinal and just not even run back, just like lazily jog back. Is unforgivable, especially when you know Messi's on the ball and he's got a pass on. So yeah, but until then, I thought the formation actually worked. I think it started Argentina. I don't think they looked that comfortable. It's just the fact that there was nothing going forward. I think in defence they were fine, but they kept just looking for a ball over the top or for it to drop to Memphis and then him to try and get Bergwijn in behind. But every single time they looked for Bergwijn in behind, it just wasn't working. I don't know if Argentina switching to a back 5 before the match sort of stumped Netherlands because they didn't expect that. I think they were expecting them to be line up in a 4-3-3 and just play their own game. I think if they did that, then that would have suited Netherlands more. But the fact that they lined up, matched them, and the Argentine defenders just gave Memphis and Bergwijn absolutely nothing the whole game. But I thought both of them had a very, very poor game. You can't argue that Memphis got substituted because I thought this is one of his worst games in the Netherlands shirt that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think?
I mean, from the beginning of the tournament, we were not really very confident about the 5-3-2, and we did not enjoy we were not even satisfied with the way we qualified to the second round. Even the match against US, I wasn't really that sure. Okay, we won with comfortably, but it wasn't promising. I remember I told you guys after that match, what will happen if we concede a goal first? And today is the first time we concede a goal first, and we saw how bad it was. We were in so much trouble. I just don't think the 5-3-2 works. With Argentina, it did because they have Messi, somebody who can create magic out of nowhere. In 2014, it worked with us because we had someone who creates magic like Robin and Van Persie. But for this World Cup, okay, we were playing comfortably in the first half, but eventually someone like Messi will find a way to score or to give a magical pass to someone, which exactly what happened. So I wasn't really happy to see today the formation again or the lineup again with the 5-3-2. And when I saw Argentina playing the same way, I was really worried about that.
Yeah, they made the right adjustments for it, didn't they? But then you wouldn't expect the Netherlands to play this 4-4-2 the whole game. And actually next time they just laid off, and could
But
there have been a
Michael,
way through? Could they really have been loading in crosses for half an hour? I don't think that would have worked for that extra
but
time as well. Sadly,
yes, Michael. But out of 5 matches, I mean, how many minutes did we have good football for Oranje? For the first match, we did not play good at all. The second match, neither with Qatar. I will not really take it seriously that match because we were so
no, of
comfortable.
course.
Yeah, we did not really play good minutes of football in any match except maybe for the last 10 minutes today in the second half.
Well, the United States match I thought was a pretty good performance. The group stage, it wasn't satisfying really at all. And I mean, the Ecuador match was that was the same thing. There were 2 shots the entire game. 1 shot on target was the goal, and today's the only 2 shots on target were goals. But the Netherlands did look dangerous when they switched up the system. Yeah. I don't know what the undoing of today was. I think it's time to bring in some comments. There have been a lot of people that have been getting involved live. Thanks, everyone. We'll bring up some on screen. So this is kind of reflecting what you're thinking, Abdul. The 4-3-3 is our football, not this. Have the Netherlands got to the semi-final today? Would people have been putting this in the comments? Had that penalty have gone the other way? Would that have been there? I don't know. It's hard. Then we've got people that are talking more about the attack. So people have been criticising Memphis, and Dara says that I think this is a good number 10. Someone to create for Memphis and Capo. There's someone that can also come back and be an extra midfielder, right? But Simon's got the defensive game yet. Like, for example, you want what Klaassen could bring, but Klaassen doesn't offer as much in the attacking way or physically. But you don't have that mix of a midfielder, do you, really, in Netherlands selection? I suppose people would have been crying out for Hakim Ziyech, given the tournament he's had so far. With him as a number 10, bit different. And then, Storm Shadows, he says he thinks this was Memphis' weakest game in years. Just when he does create an opening, we have to capitalise. Yeah. And then comments about Daley Blintz, but I think we all agreed Daley Blintz didn't have a good game. So I really dislike Blintz, the defender, but he can cross. He assisted Dumfries and scored a goal. That was early in the tournament. And are all 3 of us in agreement that might well be Daley Blintz's last cap for the Netherlands?
Yeah, I think tonight was his 99th. Unless Ronald Koeman decides to give him one just to make his 100.
Exactly. He might do that.
Might do that just as a sort of farewell. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have him in there again. I don't really care about his left foot. I think that you've got other players that can do that. I think that you've got to start looking to the next Euros now, and you've got to start building a team for that. And for that, you need to start looking at Wijndal, Bakker, or
Malacia.
Yeah,
I would say just we need to give very big thanks to Blind, to Klaassen, to Berghuis. Although I thought he did well today, but we can have better players than him. We should say goodbye to Janssen. We should say goodbye to Weghorst, regardless how great he was today. We should say goodbye to Luc de Jong. We're talking about the World Cup 2026. We need to shuffle the team and get some new players like Broby, like Simons. I'm sure there are so many talents out there waiting to give their chance, waiting for their chance, to show themselves in Oranje.
I think Martin Darun's probably one in there as well that you'd probably say that. What did he contribute today?
Not a lot. He hasn't got all the tournament, really, has he?
Yeah, he's in there to sort of break up play. He couldn't get anywhere near Messi tonight. Messi was taking it around him every single time. He did nothing, and that's why he got taken off at a break. So, yeah, you can't come up and say that he's the best defensive midfielder that Netherlands have now, because he just really isn't. As Abdul said, you got to start looking to the future. You got Kenneth Taylor on the bench. You got Ryan Gravenberch coming through at Bayern. These are the sort of players you need to try and get into the side now. Start gelling it around there. Imagine if Gravenberch was in there and he was playing like somebody like Jude Bellingham is for England. You got to sort of nurture talent like that. I know maybe not the same sort of midfielders, but you've got to give youth a chance. And if somebody like that has some energy, like Gravenberch, could come into the side and provide a lot more than what Martin Darun did tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And GR3 actually put a comment saying, "Do you think we missed Gravenberch?" I don't think so. He has potential, but I don't think he would suddenly upgrade that midfield today. Are you in disagreement with that, Mike?
I think the midfield's so passive at times. Like, you've got Frankie. The commentator said that Frankie was great tonight. I don't think he had a great game. I think he was there and he got the ball, but we didn't see any driving runs from him. I know that he was great defensively because after De Roon went off, it was more De Jong that was on Messi, and there was times where De Jong was taking the ball off him, which was great. But we didn't see those driving runs from Frankie that we were used to seeing. I think that somebody in the midfield with a bit of energy that can help drive with the ball, that's what we missed. So that's what something like Gravenberch can bring if he's on form. It's not something that De Roon can bring. It's not something that Koopmeiners can bring, because Koopmeiners will pick up the ball and then he'll look for the pass straight away. It's not something Klaassen can bring. So we're missing that dribbler from midfield if Frankie de Jong's not going to do it, and that's somebody like Gravenberch could have done.
Yeah. And this is one of the first comments that came in live. Dave said about that the horrible ref in the diving Argentina players is a bit of taste in the mouth of what could have been, and I'm totally in agreement with that, Dave. Like I was until that second goal went in from Weghorst, I was just so frustrated with not only the refereeing but that South American Argentinian way of playing. And like, I shouldn't stereotype, should I really? But they didn't play fair at all tonight, Argentina, in my opinion.
Yes.
And maybe I'm being sour grapes, but I really wasn't pleased with it.
Yeah, and
they deserved at least one red card. Argentina, seriously, they did. Especially, when
some of those
goal,
tackles that flew in.
Yes, that tackle deserved a yellow card, and then when he kicked the ball, that's another yellow card. But the referee just gave him one yellow card. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I think that kicked off the whole melee. Van Dijk got booked from that because he came in and just shoved somebody over. That was great. But yeah, like, the referee lost control, and I don't think we'll see this referee again in the World Cup. And I don't think he'll probably be selected again for World Cup because, that was pitiful. I think that anytime there's times where the ball was getting thrown up towards the end, and Luke de Jong was just shielding it, and then an Argentina player would run into him, fall over, and then it's an automatic free kick. It was literally every single time an Argentinian player went to the ground, the referee blew his whistle. It didn't matter what it was at all. And it was pitiful from that referee. And it is sour grapes when you say it, because if it went Netherlands' way, we wouldn't even be talking about a referee. But you've got to look at these things. And there was times where you're kind of wondering, like, why, like the Messi thing, why wasn't he getting booked? Why wasn't other Argentinian players getting booked? Because there's a few challenges that went in that would have maybe resulted in a second yellow card later on. But I mean, it's always kind of been the same with some South American teams, but you get it from Spain as well. You remember when Ajax played Getafe in the Europa League a couple of years ago? Some players set that way up that when they're ahead or when they need to waste time, they'll jump to the ground every 2 minutes, and that's just what Argentina did. And it's a shame to see somebody like Messi do it as well, because you think that Messi, greatest player in the world, but tonight he was doing the same. He was simulating diving, arguing with the referee. It's not nice to see.
Let's bring in some conversation about penalties. We've had people sensing disappointment tonight. We've had AJ Nix bringing up the comments about 2014, like before you even talked about it in the live streams. VAR in 2014 was what Van Dijk's penalty reminded you of. A number of people brought up this. Where's it? Let's come on here. Why would you give a defender your first penalty kick? Achilles heel penalties. What a shame. And another one. Penalty bring us down again.
Yeah, I think Van Gaal, I've seen some of his comments after the game. I think he gave a very short TV interview where he basically said, you practice penalties and then your first two players miss them. And then he moaned that the Argentina penalty was very soft, and then apparently just walked off. I think that he's fed up with his players missing the penalties, and then obviously the penalty went against him. But then he said it wasn't because the referee that they lost. So yeah, we'll see.
We
But
have two players in the match that are specialized in penalties, Gakpo and Memphis. But of course, they were substituted. So we should have started with Cope Miners. He usually takes the penalties, and the Weghorst, he also takes many penalties. I was surprised to see them, to see Van Dijk. Everybody was surprised. I've never seen Van Dijk taking a penalty before,
To be fair, though, there was a good enough strike. It's just Martinez was just been a fantastic goalkeeper again. He did it with the Copa America. He's a brilliant goalkeeper, Aston Villa most of the time, and actually didn't surprise me to see him save those penalties. But I put it down to good goalkeeping, unless you think it was just a good height and maybe a bit too close for his reach.
Even if Messi became a goalkeeper, we cannot win penalties. As simple as that. I mean, with Oranje, it doesn't matter who the goalkeeper is. We just can't win penalties. What happened with Costa Rica was something completely different that will not happen again, I think. I'm sorry, I'm just being kind of negative because it really hurts, the way we lost. I don't mean to bring you down, guys. Yeah. Just to change the subject, now I'm really trying to switch my mind to what Koeman is going to do. I just hope he shuffles the team very well. We have a good chance to win something, to win a trophy next summer. 6 months from now, we are in the semi-final of the UEFA Nations League. We just need a good team. With this lineup, we cannot
and
really
it's
win.
in the Netherlands, isn't it?
Sorry?
We got the semi-final and the final in the Netherlands too, so it's like on home turf. Right?
Yes, indeed.
The team doesn't need a lot of tweaking, although I suppose it's up to what Koeman would do with the formation. Like, I know Van Gaal came in and said, "Well, why are the Dutch people so obsessed with the formation?" But he determined to start the play, and this has been quite defensive, hasn't it? In this competition, does Koeman change it completely, and go 4-3-3? But then if it doesn't work, he ends up with egg in his face, doesn't he? But keeping this 5 at the back, people will start questioning why we're changing something different. So he's got a big decision to make there with what this looks like in the future. But the players at his disposal are the main driving force behind that. He has to have good players to play a different formation. Someone put in the comments about how do you think the Netherlands would have gotten on if Ronald Koeman was the manager instead. I would suggest probably just as far, because he probably would have got through the group stage, beat the United States, and found Argentina a really difficult stumbling block to get over, especially if they play the same way they did tonight, especially if the referee's going to keep stopping the game after every minute.
We have to praise Van Gaal, of course. We cannot blame him after all. Oh, please go ahead.
Go for it, Mike.
Yeah, I'll take you that as well. I think that Van Gaal, he's been one of my favorite things about this World Cup, just because of the press conferences, what he says, his charisma, and I think that he is a great manager, and I think that he deserves the praise. Yes, you don't like the way he plays, but he could have said the same for Man United fans when he was in charge of them, Bayern Munich fans when he's in charge of them, Barcelona fans when he's in charge of them. He isn't the most popular manager with fans, but what he does is he gets results, and he doesn't have a trophy at the end of it. But again, you can say that he's went out not being defeated in 90 minutes. So through his whole tenure as Netherlands manager, he's gone now. It's now the Koeman era, but he didn't lose once in 90 minutes in 19 matches, and that takes something for a great coach. He's 2 World Cups now where he's been in charge of the Netherlands, and the only team that's managed to beat him is Argentina on penalties. So yeah, I think he will go down as he's obviously going to go down as the Netherlands coach with the most wins. If he'd won the tournament, I think he would have went down as the best Netherlands manager ever. We're not going to see him as that. It's still going to be the Mikkel's factor there. But yeah, I think he'll be absolutely gutted tonight. I think he would have seen that Croatia win thinking, here we go. Yeah, I think that he's going to see this as a huge missed opportunity. And I think it'll actually spur him on. I don't actually think he's going to retire. I think he'll have one more job in him, and whether it's Belgium or whether it's another nation, he'll go somewhere else, because I don't think he'll want to end on that, especially given the way that he's come back and everyone's been so warm to him at times. Yeah, the Dutch press have had a go at him, but I think he's got one more job in him. Maybe if Koeman gets sacked very early, bring him back. But yeah, we'll see.
I
I'm
just
in agreement
wonder.
with
I
what
mean,
you said there, Mike.
if you have the best defenders in the world, why would you defend with five defenders? If you have Van Dijk, Nathan Ake, De Vrij, I mean, you name them. They play in the highest level of football. Why do you play 5-3-2? And of course, leaving some players in Holland like Broby, and taking someone like Janssen, who we completely forgot about in the past years. His selections were kind of questionable. But again, I have to praise him. I mean, he never lost a match, if we put it this way, in the World Cup.
Oh. There's still so much we can talk about with all this, and the Nations League is certainly something to look forward to, isn't it? So there's, like I said, we'll have to do a podcast about stuff like this. I don't think we're ready to end the live stream yet, so if you're still with us, do stay with us. Let's keep talking about this. It's been a roller coaster ride of competition, and tonight's match was that in particular. Let's bring up some of these comments. So people are being positive about the Nations League coming up. Moment of Truth says we were too passive for the first 70 minutes. For the past 18 months into the tournament, we've been on the front foot, completely changed our tactics at the World Cup. It did seem to go ultra defensive, didn't it? Just recently, for the competition.
Yeah.
I think only players with the right speed of play and bravery of Memphis, Capo, without their course, Frankie de Jong. But then, can we talk about Memphis Depay? Meant to be our saviour, and we were way better when he went off the pitch. Do you think it was fitness? Do you think it was... attitude's the wrong word. Do you think he was almost trying too hard and then just ended up going completely wrong? Or what? Because we play far better with him usually, and he had a terrible game.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a bit of fitness. Maybe it's just a bit of how Argentina handled him. Maybe the runs weren't there. He'd been going on about this tournament how he loves to play with Bergwijn, but watching the two of them tonight, I don't think you'd say that that's a winning partnership, because they didn't work together at all very well. And yeah, Memphis was coming very deep to try and get the ball, but if he's coming very deep, you got to hope that there's somebody that you can get in behind and run the ball onto. But we didn't have that tonight. Dumfries was up there, but Dumfries wasn't getting involved in the attack too much, and Wind on the other side just didn't do anything. So there wasn't really any passes on in the front. So if you're going to play 5-3-2, you need to partner Memphis with somebody that's going to work with them and make the runs. But tonight it just didn't happen. I think Bergwijn, sadly, because a couple of months ago he was Netherlands' most informed player, but I think Bergwijn's form has just gone completely off a cliff. The BBC commentator said tonight, after he was taken off at half time, that he was inconsolable on the bench. I've not seen any pictures of that, but I wouldn't be surprised, because he probably holds his performance high, and he probably has a lot of confidence. But yeah, he's had a very bad World Cup, and yeah, I don't know what that signals for Ajax going into the second half of the season, because they need him. And right now he's just a player very, very much out of form.
Well, the problem with Memphis, he was benched for a long time and he got injured. Okay, we still needed him. He still did some great things this World Cup, but Bergwijn is a problem really, because the atmosphere in Ajax is not good. I see from the news many players are complaining from Schroeder. Many players are kind of not happy with the way things are going with Ajax. So we've seen a decline of Bergwijn, Klaassen, Blind, Berghuis, and surprisingly, they were all selected. Except for Berghuis today, maybe in the second half, none of them performed well this entire tournament.
Yasser says, this one hit hard, guys. No one can say Argentina play was better. Took back the game. Just wish that get that pressure next time. We had them on the ropes. I agree with you. I think Argentina on the whole were better for me, but that's just chance creation, to be honest. But yeah, we had them on the ropes, and extra time would have been good to have carried on, force that. We had some comments back to what we said about penalties. Can't get right, and Hamza both said Van Dijk's penalty wasn't bad. It had a lot of power. It's just a really good save. Masai Dosen was laughing at your comment, Abdul. If Messi becomes a goalkeeper, we can't win a penalty shootout. And people get saying that the referee is biased. Here's a comment as well about Ake. Positive note, Ake had a really good tournament. Can we talk about Nathan Ake whilst I go and get my laptop charged? Because yet again, we've been doing a lovely live stream and my laptop's about to run out of charge. What do you guys think about Ake?
Yeah, I think that for me, he had an excellent tournament. I think he was probably out of the three centre backs, I think he's the one that stood out across the tournament. More than the other two, I think that Van Dijk, he doesn't really stand out what he does. He just has a very calm, precise game. But I think Nathan Ake won a lot of aerial duels. He won a lot of tackles. He stood out more. The only thing that I wish was that when we had some free kicks and corners, that our crossing wasn't so poor that they actually found players like Ake and Van Dijk in the box, because I think that aerially both of them are such a threat in the opponent's box. But every single time we got a corner or a free kick, the crossing from Gakpo is usually so good, can't find them. But yeah, Nathan Ake had a phenomenal tournament for me.
I praised Nathan Ake after every match for Oranje, even against Ecuador, which was the worst match for the entire team. He's the only one who played good in that match. I think when they make the team of the tournament, definitely Nathan Ake should be there.
Mm-hmm. Can I talk about something that I've been talking about throughout the stream, and that is, why is it that when the second goal, the penalty was given to Argentina, that foul, maybe I'm seeing this through orange tinted spectacles, but I thought that was on the line of the penalty area, and it was barely even looked at. Why was that not scanned and looked at deliberately by VAR to check whether that was inside or just outside the penalty area? And then, if you recall, when it was 2-0, Gakpo went over in the penalty area. It might not have been a penalty, I don't know. But I didn't even see a replay of it. It didn't stop the game to have VAR check on it. Like, that also blew my mind. And I'm not trying to be someone that says, the refs are biased, they just want Messi and Argentina to go through. But I did start to wonder for a moment then, for both of those decisions. Please tell me somebody agrees with me.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Yes. Michael?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think that, you don't need to be a genius to figure out that a tournament held in
Qatar,
this day and age in Qatar, and the way that the FIFA is going, they want this to be the most prestigious tournament in the world, and they want the best players to make the final. I think they would do anything that they could to make it a Messi versus Ronaldo final. Ronaldo probably wouldn't start if it did get to that, but Messi against Mbappe, Messi against Ronaldo, they want the stars to be there. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a thinking in tonight that there was a little bit of bias towards Argentina. And yeah, the fact that the penalty was just given and there wasn't really any very replays just looking at it and giving us any angles to say that it was definitely in the box. And I think Netherlands had a couple of penalty shouts that were just waved away and we didn't even see replays of them at all. I think that, yeah, there's countless times tonight that decisions went against Netherlands that shouldn't have, but then again, he could have not given the free kick that ended up scoring the last goal. So, it's every decision that goes against you, there was a couple that went for us. So, yeah. It's hard.
Michael, if they changed the time of the entire tournament and made it in winter, I'm sure they can do everything else. It's not really impossible to be biased at some points. I hate talking like that, but what Michael said was true. Gakpo fell, and I was waiting for the reply. I was waiting for the VAR to do something, at least just to check it. We did not see anything like that. Even the penalty, it was very weird, and I'm not really sure if it's a penalty. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I don't know what you think, guys, but I still have my doubts about it, really.
Do you mean the second goal? I thought that was a foul. I think, was it Dumfries that tripped him up
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely tripped him up, but I was like, I couldn't even tell. I was like, I saw it once, and then I don't even know if that's inside or outside the penalty area. Somebody said that they agree with me. Where are they? Yeah, I don't know whether it was or not, but like the commentator didn't talk about it. I was just so surprised. Yeah, there we are. Cleve said, fully agree with you. There've been some mad VAR decisions, but we didn't even get to have like. Yeah, and some shadow said not even a replay and Hapo crazy. Feel like I tried to get Argentina through. I mean, yes, when you think about it, all those kind of things, and some of these fouls. When we had like Berghaus just absolutely laughing his head off. It's just like I just can't believe that they are biasing. It seems Argentina's in these decisions. But was that the difference tonight? I mean, the Netherlands made a great comeback. We talked about bounce back ability repeatedly for this tournament, and it was great to see that tonight. But they still didn't create enough chances, I don't think, to warrant that sort of deserved victory. What do you think? If they're going to make one change tonight, what would it have been, Mike? If you could start again, what would it be?
Again, it's hindsight, but looking at the way the match went and looking at how the defenders really struggled with them. If you look at that Argentine defense, now if I was going to look at the Argentine defense, I would say they're all quite short. With Sandro Martinez, Otamendi, a blank on the third one, but they're all quite short defenders. And having Bergwijn and Memphis and playing long ball, if they had I know it probably wouldn't have started, but if they had Weghorst from the start instead of Bergwijn, I think that would have made a huge difference tonight. I think that having somebody that could hold the ball up, could be a threat from crosses against three short Argentinian defenders, might have caused more havoc. But again, that was probably never in the pipeline. You say that in hindsight because of the way the match went. And I think all of us would have been really surprised if he came out and said, "Oh, I'm going to start with Weghorst." But yeah, I think looking at the game and how it played out, I think a tall striker up front from the Netherlands from the start, somebody that runs like Weghorst with Memphis with a bit of pace would have worked a treat.
Some clubs did that against Ajax. Yeah, when Ajax had Blind and some short defenders. I remember Ajax lost the Champions League semi-final to Tottenham by a long ball, if you remember. The defenders were not really tall at that time. Yeah.
We were asked to check our Twitter page, and I did look at the image. Did you see the image as well, Mike, of the celebrations? I'll put it on the screen shortly. The celebrations of Argentina as soon as that penalty had gone in. It's devastating to look at from an Evans point of view, but just makes me. I've just got this hatred almost now for Argentina, and sadly the way that they celebrate victories. It's a real shame to see this picture when you see it. Quite the image, I have to say. That photographer should get a bit of money for it. Let's just share it. Is that now on screen for you guys?
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but whoever number 19 is, yeah, it's not very good sportsmanship. I think Van Gaal said in his press conference as well that the Argentine goalkeeper was going up to him and giving him a bit of stick after the game as well. So I mean, it did kick off after the penalties as well, because there seemed to be a little melee on the side, but didn't really focus on it. But yeah, I think that going forward, Netherlands versus Argentina is probably going to be a rivalry now because of this game. I think there's got to be a bit of spice to it. And yeah, I think that, there was 50,000 or whatever Argentina fans in the stands, and there's only 1,000 Netherlands ones. But yeah, I think that going forward, I think Netherlands fans are now going to see Argentina as one of the most hated teams in the world. I think that Netherlands fans like Barcelona, and they had a lot of time for Messi, but maybe I think that'll go after today.
Well, they played dirty during the match, so that picture doesn't really surprise me. They played dirty. They played, and the referee, unfortunately, I don't want to say he helped them, but he should have given at least one red card, as I mentioned earlier. What can we say? I mean, we've seen them playing like that, and not only Argentina. I mean, many South American teams play like that, to be honest. But after all, what's done is done now. So we might just think of the future and how we can make a better team out of this.
I think just one more thing on the referee. I think that I've seen an article on Football International, just an interview with Messi after the game, and apparently the Argentinian players have been complaining about how bad the refereeing was towards them tonight. I think that if you want a good laugh, just have a look at those comments, because that's the biggest joke that I think you'll see tonight, is that how Argentina can say that they're on the end of some poor refereeing decisions is baffling.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Is that I'm a teacher, and one time our children beat a rival school, and they had a dressing down for me afterwards, because I just said, like, that's not how you celebrate a win. And we've got these Argentina players literally acting like children. That's not a way to win. Let's bring up some last comments. I think someone said that the person that was number 19 was Otamendi, which it's Otamendi number 19. Anyway, okay, I think we need to finish there. We came straight on to reflect with our raw emotions, and we deliberately didn't kind of have that moment before the podcast to just get some positivity back in, because I thought this would make for better viewing for all of you watching along live, and perhaps afterwards, maybe you might be looking back upon this live stream, maybe after the Netherlands won the World Cup in 4 years' time. Who knows? But thanks for your thoughts with all the comments being brought in. Sorry if I didn't go on screen with them, but we're happy reading them throughout this live stream. And continue to put them in down below, and we'll react to those afterwards. If you've been enjoying all of the live stuff that we've been putting out from the Netherlands, whether that's a match preview or live stream, do give this a like. Subscribe to Football-Oranje if you're not already, because as always, Dutch football's been given to you from us on our YouTube channel, but also on the website and the Twitter page. That won't stop, and there are plenty more things for Netherlands coming up. I mean, and just over half a year, we've got the Nations League coming up soon, and that is competition for Netherlands. Are in the semi-finals already. Let's hope there's no more heartache like this one tonight. And thanks everyone for your comments. I've had some thanks already. Thank you to you for watching, and thank you, Mike. Thank you, Abdul. Before we go, any last reflections? Because we will definitely do podcast 101. I think if we can get it before Christmas, that'd be great. People can enjoy that reflection of the World Cup, but I think we need some time to go and reflect, don't we, on what was an absolutely crazy night. Quite a dull first half, but it definitely was fireworks in the second half, and what a roller coaster in the end.
Well, the only thought I have is just hoping that Koeman, since he's our next coach, as I said, to shuffle the team and to bring some new fresh legs. I think we need the likes of Broby and Simons to be starters, and to say goodbye to at least 4 or 5 players, as I mentioned them earlier. That's what I'm thinking of right now, really.
Yeah, and my final thoughts are, I've enjoyed Van Gaal's third and probably final term as Netherlands coach. I think he's brought some good times with him. He got us to the World Cup. He's been unbeaten, had some good wins in the Nations League against like Belgium, home and away. It's not the best football, but we made it to the quarterfinals. Look at Spain, look at Germany, look at Belgium. Didn't make it that far. So you can say that it's not a total disgrace. The KNVB's target beforehand was the quarterfinals. He's reached that. It's a shame that we can't go forward, given what he's battling personally with his cancer, that we can't go forward and win it for him. But that's how it works out in football. It's cruel, and we go again. In the Euros in 2 years, it's going to be tough because we've got France in the qualifying groups. We'll look forward to that when it comes. And I think the final reflection is that the Netherlands have had a hero this tournament. You couldn't bring it tonight in the penalty shootout, but Andries Noppert, what a guy. Never played for Netherlands before. Helped us get to the quarterfinal and made some good saves tonight and made some good claims in the box. I think he had a wonderful game before I got to the penalties. So what a guy he is, and I can't wait to see more of him and see where he goes after this. So well done to him, well done to Van Gaal. And yeah, let's just hope that the future is bright and to get that tournament win finally soon.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anthony's not, but what a tournament. And I think there's a little bit of all of us in him living the dream, really, and doing what he did in this tournament, from nearly quitting football altogether, doing something different altogether. He's now got a fantastic career ahead of him. He's only 28 for a goalkeeper. That's quite young. And he can go on now, Connie, and get a good move from it. And maybe he stays as a Netherlands goalkeeper. We'd love to see that, wouldn't we? That his story can just continue, really. Yeah, what a character. We've enjoyed lots of different things in this World Cup, and hopefully we can still enjoy it as a fan. And there's no team I think we want out of the World Cup more now than Argentina. So let's hope Croatia do a job on them.
Well, the Scottishman in me would disagree with that, but that's we'll see tomorrow. But yeah, Argentina, let's hope to get beat.
I go for France.
This will change to an England flag probably tomorrow.
Yeah, I go for France, and hopefully one of them wins the tournament. Definitely hope. I hope one of them wins the tournament, France or England.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean,
hopefully
France for you. Had to be. No part of a Scotsman can support England.
No. Well, maybe Morocco. You never know. Like, you've got Hakan Ziyech here. You've got a few Dutchmen in that squad.
Yeah.
Fairy tale. Morocco, Croatia final. Let's see that.
On paper,
Still
nobody
lots to
can
like for this tournament.
I think France has the best team in the world nowadays. On paper, nobody can stop them. But of course, every match has, its own problems and its own atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks guys for joining us, and thanks everyone for watching again. Thanks for sticking with us throughout this live stream. It's well attended, I think, tonight. Same again. Show us your support, and we'll see you soon. Thanks everyone for watching.